What's up, guys? BrunsNick's back, and it's time for another comparison. This time we're going to look at 14 pounds versus 16 pounds. 2 pounds difference in weight. We're going to check them out. We're going to have SPECTO running. We're going to look at all the data along the way. We're going to see if 14 pounds can hang with 16 pounds on the lanes. See if there's any benefit to using the heaviest weight possible, or will you get more out of a 14-pound ball because you'll be able to control it more. We're going to find all that out. Before we do, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Now, let's see 14 pound versus 16 pound. All right, in my last few videos, you've seen me compare 14 versus 15, and then 15 versus 16. Well, now we're going to look at 16 versus 14. And now this isn't going to be a video to ploy about, why 16 is better or why 16 pound hits more. It's going to be whether or not you should switch and maybe use 14. Maybe you're getting a little older, you're not able to handle that 16 pounder. Well, I'm here to show that maybe 14 pound can give you just as much hitting power and a little bit more control and maybe a little bit more rev rate to make up for that extra weight. So I got my 16 pound zigzag here. We're going to throw it on here. We're going to look at SPECTO along the way, and we're going to see what 16 pound can do versus 14 pound. Let's get on with it. Be sure to check out the merch in the description below. Got all this new BrunsNick merch now. All right, let's throw some shots with 16 pounds. We're gonna throw a few to get warmed up here. Oh man. Hey. Yep. First shots, always a little sore, but hey, carry that muck with a 16 pounder. It's going to be a hard sell. It's like, I'm never throwing 14. Are you kidding? Those are the kind of hits I get back home using 16. Why would I want to go to a lighter weight? We're going to talk about it. I'm not here to convince you. I'm just here to show what I'm going to show and see what 16 pound can do versus 14. That's it. I'm not here to say don't throw 16, because if you're physically able to and you want to throw the heaviest weight possible, by all means. Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, so far, I gotta commend myself for being so accurate right now with the 16 pounder. I've thrown one way in, thrown one way out. I figure if I get somewhere in the middle of those two, I might have a good shot. I noticed in the 16 versus 15 pound and also 15-14, the lighter weight ball had more rotation. Good shot. All right. I think we're ready. We're going to make the switch. We're going to go to the 14 pound zigzag. Drilled the same. All right, first shot with 14 pound. Man, oh man. Let's feel this thing. This is going to be really light. Oh my goodness. Man. It was really feeling like I didn't even have a ball. Like, it was so light going down. It was very hard to feel at the bottom, but obviously a good break there. Tripped the 4. And obviously a 14 pound is gonna deflect a little bit more when it hits the pins, especially when it hits half pocket. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Same problems I had in the previous video when going to a lighter weight ball. My hand just doesn't feel that weight at the bottom. I just don't feel the ball when going down to a lighter weight. It takes a few shots to get used to, because you're taking 2 pounds off the ball, and in motion it probably feels like a lot more because of all the gravity that's added to it. All right. Let's try to slow her down and just try to stay with it. That's better. That's hooking a lot though. All right. I think it's starting to hook a little bit, so I could probably make a little bit of an adjustment. It's going to come down to consistency. Okay, that's going to be the main thing. This video is not going to be about how 14 pound can hang with 16 pound, because in the hitting power department, I don't think you're going to throw it that much harder, and maybe you might. Maybe throw it really slow with 16. I don't think I'm that much difference between the two to warrant the fact that maybe 14 pound is going to be a lot better. For some people, it might make a world of difference. If you can get a couple extra mile per hour out of 14 versus 16, that could equate to equal amount of hitting power at the pins there. All right, last shot was pretty good. That's wide. Hook. Ah, all right. That's my miss. With a lighter weight ball, my miss is missing at the bottom, throwing it out wide. So that tells me that 14 pound for myself is just too light for my game. If I don't feel that interaction with my hand and my swing, I'm never going to be consistent. You need to use a ball heavy enough for your physical capability in order to be consistent. If you use too light of a ball, you're going to muscle it, the ball's going to go everywhere like you've seen. So consistency-wise, lighter weight ball for me is not the answer. But if you're using a 14 pound ball and you're flinging it everywhere, no control, you're muscling it. Yeah, wide again. All right, let's switch back to 16. Let's throw a few more shots and just talk about the feel of it. I mean, that's the main thing, is like 16, kind of like that old fairy tale, you know, with the three bears. You know, this one was too heavy, this one was too light, that one's just right. That's how I feel about 15 pounds. 16 is just too heavy, 14 is too light, 15 is just right. All right, throwing the same shot here with 16. I'm just kind of curious if speed comes down, but I don't think it really does. Uh-oh. Wide two. Oh, should have carried that. It always takes a little bit of time to get used to going to weight. So if you're using different weights in your arsenal, you should really ask yourself why, I think. Especially if you're using like a lighter spare ball compared to your normal strike ball. I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. All right. The main difference I feel with 16 pound is sometimes I just don't feel my hand being able to rotate around it as much. There's so much extra weight there, it's a lot more load to bear. But that's a great shot. There's just something about that crack of the pins with the heaviest weight possible. Now, I've thrown 16 pounds back in the day, pretty much from 1996 all the way to about 2004. I use 16 pounds exclusively. Not no more, been 20 years. And I can tell you, as much as I'd like the hitting power, I'll never go back to 16. There's only one exception where I would. And I'll talk about that after I smack some pins around. Another great shot. You might have heard some players on the PBA Tour using 16-pound black hammers. Before it was purple hammers. And they often said the 16-pound ball is stronger for me, and there's a reason. Because that ball is thick shell, the core has to change in order to make the weight. So in a 15 versus 16, you actually get more differential out of a 16-pound urethane ball versus the 15-pound counterpart. You're talking about 12 to 13 points of differential, which is a little bit more flare, so a little bit stronger ball. All right, let's go back to 14. Yeah, that urethane video I'll definitely do soon. We'll test out 16 pound. We'll look at the dynamics of the ball and see if there is an advantage. 14 pounder here. Let's see if we can't crack some pins at this as well. That's a good shot. It's hooking though. Come on, oh, come on. Now it's hard to say. In the long run, would 16 pound carry that more often than a 14 pound? Is that just luck? I don't know. Has there ever been a study on that? I'm sure there has. But heavier ball, I think, is going to carry more. Lighter ball, you'll be able to get more ball speed, more rev rate on. Oh, that's cranked. Yeah. I got a little bit quick with that one. Got a lot on it, but that half pocket hit, getting those corner pins out with a lighter ball, it's gonna be a little bit harder. So it's so important to pick the right ball. You need a heavy enough ball to strike, obviously, but you also need a heavy enough ball that it keeps your swing in line without muscling it, and you can be more consistent. That's the name of the game. If you're using too light of a ball, you kind of fling it all over the place. Using too heavy, you can't get enough on it. Find your weight. Come on. That's a great shot. Oh, it's hooking. Lanes are starting to hook on me. So let's start moving in a little bit with 14, and we'll throw a couple more shots with 16. We'll wrap this video up. All right, so that one definitely locked up quick. Saw that friction and went. So let's move. Let's make a drastic move here. Let's move 5. I'm gonna move whole zone here. 5 left with my feet, like 3 with my eyes. Let's swing it now. That's the bottom line there. If you can create enough entry angle to the pins, the ball, no matter what weight you throw, is going to go through the pins and strike consistently. That's the main thing. You got to get that ball to slow down. You got to get that ball to change directions, and you got to get it to set up in the pocket and get through the pins. That's exactly what that did. Let's throw one from there with 16, sorry. And see if I can't get 16-pound around the corner like that. We're really going to look at the SPECTO on this one here. Felt like it was a little bit in. Let's check the numbers. Yeah, that was a little inside. Let's throw one more shot. Let's get it right on top. I really want to see what this ball does when throwing the same, on the same line. Can it still get back? I think it can. All right, I like right on top of each other. Let's take a look at the SPECTO. Yeah, I got to give it to the 14-pounder there. Looks a little bit more dynamic. Ball speed, a little bit different. Rev rate, possibly a little bit different. I think I hit the ball a little harder with 14, unless you get a little bit more back end. So the numbers are the numbers. So whether you're going to use 14 or 16, I mean, 2 different things there. But this video is more so for, is a 14-pound just as good as a 16-pound? Can it hit just as hard in the right situation? The answer is absolutely yes. Should you use 14 or 16 if you're struggling mightily with 16-pound, getting that speed up? Drop down in weight. It might not be just 1 pound. You might need to go 2. That's what this video is for. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Check out the merch on InsideBowling.com. Links in the description. Always, please subscribe.